Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show with Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith. We're the mother-daughter travel team and publishers of Big Blend Radio and TV Magazine and Parks and Travel Magazine. You can check them out. Go to BigBlendMagazines.com. And as I was saying, we are a travel team, and we travel full-time on our Love Your Parks tour, where we travel across the country and anywhere we want to go to cover all the parks and public lands we possibly can, as well as their communities, and share the stories of the different destinations. And you can keep up with our tour at loveyourparkstour.com. And today's show, we have travel writer Debbie Stone back on the show. She just came back from some awesome adventures in Oahu, Hawaii. And she's got a great story. You can see it up on nationalparktraveling.com right now. You'll see it in an upcoming fall issue of Parks and Travel magazine. And it's Oahu, Hawaii, one island, many adventures. And from reading her article, we're just a little jealous because it looks so, beachified, cool forests and, tropical flowers and waterfalls and really fresh, vibrant food and just culture, and we're jealous. So just saying. You can keep up with Debbie. Go to blendradioandtv.com or nationalparktraveling.com. You'll see her in our expert department. But, we call her the Fire Monkey for good reason. She got that name. Where was that now? I've got to keep up with it. It wasn't Myanmar, right? Where were you for that one, Fire Monkey? Bhutan.
That was Bhutan. No, Bhutan. It was Bhutan.
Yeah, Bhutan. Bhutan. And then Fire Monkey, you got they gave you guinea pig in Peru. Is that right? Getting it all told.
No, guinea pig was Myanmar.
It really was? I know, because I always think of guinea pigs being eaten in Peru. But this is a nice welcome. Nice welcome to the show. But listen, you're a fire monkey. What was it like being in Hawaii in this tropical rainforest setting? Did you feel like swinging from the trees?
Oh my gosh, it's so tropical there. It's just, it really is the paradise atmosphere that people always imagine or think of, dream of with Hawaii. It's the weather is, it's monotonously wonderful, so to speak. It's you wake up to the sun and the blue skies and 80 degrees or so, and it's just, it's one of those outdoor playgrounds, places where people just, they soak it all up. They soak the sun up, they soak up the ocean, the water, they soak up the culture, and they certainly soak up the food and the libations as well.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. I forgot about that.
She got soaked in Hawaii.
And snow cones. She just got into the world of snow cones. I know that. You said that's an art form, snow cones. So,
yes.
You see, vendors doing snow cones here, and there's shaved ice with some syrup on top. And from what I was seeing and reading from your article and seeing in your photos, this is an art form. This is not the typical just a syrup on top of ice.
No, and they call it shaved ice, and it really is, as I said, a category of its own. There's these wonderful shaved ice stands everywhere you go, and there's competition among them and among the people that frequent them as to their favorites, and they're now they're using homemade syrups, they're using natural flavors, they're using fresh fruit instead of syrup in places, they're using ice cream and frozen yogurt as a base, and then they put all these the ice, the shaved ice, and then they put the syrup, and then they put all these toppings which are amazing. And people, they want the mochi, they want the azuki beans, they want the lilikoi, which is like a passion fruit, the seeds. They have these things called topping bobas, which are these little balls. They're like jelly with juice in them, and then it's like whatever you want on them. And so it creates this unbelievable, beautiful, I think, art form. And you just see people sitting along the walkways and everything, sitting on benches, and they're just, everybody seems to be eating shaved ice. And believe me, I had my share of it.
and this comes from really there's the shaved ice, the snow cones, but there's all these different foods. Is it because it's kind of this the cultural background, the roots of it, because I know you went to learn more about the Polynesian culture that lives there, and it just seems that there's a nice blend of people there that really know how to enjoy the tropics and know how to also, just from, Hawaiians that, we've interviewed over the years, they really do understand the land and living off the land in as much of a pristine way as possible.
Yeah, I think they're really much. I think it's really a lot about nature there, and there's certainly a spiritual quality for islanders, for Native Hawaiian islanders, and there are certainly sacred places on all of the islands throughout Hawaii, and some of them you can get to, but most of the sacred places, many of them are places that are not, they don't want people going to, because for the simple fact they are sacred, like Sacred Falls, which really you really can't access. People try and they do, but it's not something that they want people to go and do, to hike, because it is really a very special place, with a lot of different stories and myths and all sorts of different tales that are associated with that. But there's a spiritual quality there too.
Well,
I
like that.
I think when you live on the island, you feel the effects of global warming, climate change, anything that happens with the weather. You feel it quicker than people on the mainland.
I think you're definitely out there, surrounded by water, and I think many of the islands, but Oahu really surprised me. I'd been to Maui and to Molokai and to the Big Island and Kauai, and I'd only been one night in transit to go to these islands in Oahu itself, and so for me it was a chance to really explore Oahu in depth, and I found it to be, I think, one of the more diverse islands in terms of topography and what there is to offer, and mountainous. It's very mountainous, and then there's rainforest. It's very lush. There's these incredible mystical valleys that are there, and of course there's this, breathtaking coastline. But it really has something for everyone. And as I mentioned, the best way to see that is, to really get a grasp of that, is to get up there in on a helicopter ride, and Blue Hawaiian helicopters, and be up there and look at it from that bird's eye perspective, and then you get this. You're like, whoa! I didn't realize how varied this island is when it comes to landscape.
That's what's
Cool.
neat, is to see it from the bird's eye view. And when you look, those photos are amazing. You've got some awesome pictures. I know Nancy and I were like going, "Ooh, I want to go to the beach
I
now."
want to.
But you see that there is the city part of it too. So here's a resort. There's the beachfront. But there you can see that there's a belt of humanity in there. Let's put it that way. And then there's a belt that looks like a big portion that is wilderness. It seems like.
Right. There is a lot of I think natural areas that I think a lot of many tourists don't get to. Some tourists don't get beyond Honolulu and Waikiki Beach, and I feel like in order to really see what the island's about, you need to get out of there and take your car or rent a car, whatever it is, and explore the rest of the island. It doesn't take that long to do it, and you can stop along the way at all these wonderful sites, and whether it's beaches or whether it's a cultural center or whether it's food, whatever it is. But it gives you such a different perspective when you leave Honolulu and you leave Waikiki Beach and you say, this is it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I couldn't believe what you're saying. Here's it's one island, many adventures, and at the same time, 130 beaches, over 130 beaches.
Yeah.
On one island.
Crazy.
Wow.
I know. The beaches are amazing, and, everyone hears about Waikiki Beach because it is the most famous beach, but because of that, it is where the throngs and the masses go, and it is pretty much wall to wall, and it's great for people viewing and everything, and it's definitely it has a lot of action happening, a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping, but to see the nature and to see, which is what I truly really enjoy the most. Head out of there and stop. I mean, it's like beaches everywhere all along the island, and you just you stop where you want to stop, and they're so nice because most of them are just so uncrowded, and you have some of them to yourself basically.
Cool.
Oh,
That's nice. I like to have that.
yeah, I
peaceful.
like that.
Yeah, it just seems that it has that blend of if you want to be outside your resort or on the beach, so you can have that experience, or you can immerse yourself in the cultural experience, or you can have that complete respite from human life, the city kind of life. And I think that's where I would go. That's just personally would be my immediate thing, is to head for the hills and the waterfalls. But when you were flying over, you were talking about how they really give you, and you got such good pictures from a helicopter. I'm like, how did you do that? Because normally you're moving. You know what I mean? Like taking photos from a boat is never the easiest, but like in the helicopter, are you used to going up in helicopters, or is it just a smooth ride?
You know what? It was a combination of both. I've been up in helicopters a couple of times, but it was a pretty smooth ride. And the helicopters these helicopters are very state of the art. And there was only 6 passengers and the pilot, and everybody gets a good view. And I was sitting right up front next to the pilot, which was very convenient. But it's great because it's a narrated tour, so he just talks to you, or she just talks to you about everything about the formations and the geology and the geography. And then it's just, to me, it was wonderful to take it all in and have somebody at the same time provide that kind of background information.
Yeah, what's going on too, because it seems like the different islands and the different, like, the topography has different names, like the Chinaman's Hat and places like that. They all have a different name.
Right. There's kind of a story, I think, behind every one of them. The Chinaman's Hat, it is because of the way it's the cone shaped, the way it looks, how it juts out, and then just like the Sacred Falls, like I said, is really spiritual with all these superstitions, and then the Diamond Head, which of course is, I think, one of the most noticeable formations, and everybody knows about Diamond Head. But I didn't realize that the way it got its name was because these British sailors saw calcite crystals embedded in the rock, and they said, "Oh, those are diamonds."
Oh, wow!
And so it became Diamond Head, and so it was just like, "Oh, really? I didn't realize that's how it actually got its name." So it's so that's the kind of thing. I mean, you'll hear about from somebody who's telling you all about the stories behind that, or the names, the really reasons for why these things are called this, and so I think that it's a great perspective, but I think, as I mentioned, it really gives people an idea of, okay, so when I'm back on land, now I'm going to explore. How am I going to explore this island? Okay, so he talked about this place and this place and this place. So it gives you a really good perspective. It's a great idea to take it, I think, initially at the beginning of your visit or your vacation there, because then you can use that information and plan accordingly.
I love
sense.
This.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And there's movie history and everything I want to get into, but I want to say, because of Diamond Head and all the places you went to, I know you like to read. I can tell by your writing that you read. But there's a lady we interviewed many years ago, Galen Quinn, Gaellen, Galen Quinn. She wrote a book called The Last Aloha, and this was one of the, I don't know, it still leaves a mark on me on a radio show that we did. Her and then Clifford Capano, and he did a historic photo book of Honolulu. And it was really interesting because she did like the last monarchy of Hawaii, the history of it, and very James Michener style book. And it was one of, I would say, one of the top 10 books I've ever read in my life. Really. And Nancy and I both are, yes, I no kidding. She's a friend of mine, with mine still on Facebook and everything. And so is Clifford. And we put them both on this show together. And it just was one of these shows where it just went into, I don't know, magic happened. At the same time, we really delved into the history, which is,
really crazy.
that's I mean, I don't. That's not what I want to get into on
Mm.
this show, but there's stuff going on, and has in the past of, and also just this the monarchy and who they are, and anyway, her book. She actually saw James Michener and met with him, and right before he passed
Ooh.
away, had an event with
Mm.
him, and he read her book and everything, right? So it's like this cool
Wow.
thing, yeah. And just this whole thing. Was it Robert Louis Stevenson that was there on the islands and just exploring Hawaii? And but this whole area that you're in is a huge part of her book, and talking about Diamond Head and what it looked like and the shape, and then all these spiritual stories. It's kind of like reading Southern fiction in a way. These spiritual,
Mm.
mystical stories that come out of Hawaii. Just, I really want to go there. And then reading your article, I'm like, I really want to go because it just, I don't know. There's just such a diversity of experiences. Here's this lush tropical oasis, these amazing beaches, this fresh, vibrant food, and then there's this side that's really serious, Pearl Harbor. That has got to, that history is so deep and harsh and sad, and at the same time, it's got to be so bizarre to set foot there in this luxury place. Like I just say luxury because it's tropical, and to me, tropical oasis is the ultimate of luxury. Doesn't need to be the beds. It's about flowers and green power,
Yes.
So that's got to be like a really weird experience. You know what I mean? To go from
Well, yeah,
all the
there
history
is
is
a
just like wow, in this
yeah.
oasis.
The island has, I mean, we won't get into it, but I do know what you're referring to. There's tons of history with Hawaii and the islands. But Pearl Harbor, which really is, I mean, it is the number one attraction on the island, and they get over 1 million visitors a year. But it is a national memorial, and it is a very there's a certain amount of sobering, quality
Yeah.
to this place because
Mhm.
emotional. Some, visitors get very emotional when they are there. It's a place to go and to remember, to respect, to try and understand better. And I think depending on the generation of which you are, many people, they know a little bit about Pearl Harbor. They're like, oh yeah, or I've seen a movie or whatever, and they remember Pearl Harbor and whatnot. But there you get such a deeper understanding of the events that led up to that, the climate in the world, what was happening, and then the actual event, and then the consequences of that event and what happened, the aftermath, which really took our country from isolationist stance and took us into war, which definitely then changed everything in terms of the trend or the course or the trajectory that was happening there. So there's a really good film there that really talks about it, brings to life and the weight of the event and what happened before and after. And then there's a museum, and then there's an aviation museum, and then of course you visit. There's a submarine, the Bowfin, to actually hop on and visit. Then the USS Arizona, which I was so sorry that it was not open because I heard it's such an amazing experience, very, very powerful experience.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing repairs, and they've been working at it for over a year and a half, whatever it is, and it's not done. But you can go. They take you out by boat, and you at least you get up close, fairly up close to it, and you get to see it. But it is an amazing. It looks like it would be an amazing experience to actually walk on. It's built on top of the. It's a graveyard underneath, and
Right.
And actually,
Wow.
what I found was very interesting is those who survived Pearl Harbor, and there's very few that are left, but the ones that survived and they passed away over the years, they could opt to have their remains interned with their brothers of the sea below that in that memorial.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
they did. Yeah, they did one not too long ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but we were told this, and they do a whole ceremony. But the divers will go under and put the remains, and they're put with their brothers. you know.
Wow.
So,
A true memorial. A true memorial.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
very
like
much
it.
so.
Yeah, that to me is yeah, sobering is the word. And I think that it's important that we experience these parts. It's part of, our National Park Service. Three quarters,
Yes,
I'd say even 3/5 of them, of our Park Service is historic sites and memorials and historic trails. And we always think of Rocky Mountain or Yosemite or
right.
Yellowstone, but this is part of this importance of why our National Park Service is so important, because we can't lose these sites. We need to remember the sobering history and be able to reflect and connect and not repeat it. That's what my hope. That we.
Well,
I agree. I agree, and that's why they're there, and they're there to make sure we remember. And so it really was. It was a very. I think it's a very powerful experience to visit Pearl Harbor. And I saw, like I said, I saw a number of people very emotional about visiting there. And you look at the names of the people who perished, and you look at the the Battleship Row, and you can actually go on the Mighty Mo, which is the Missouri. You can go on that battleship, and you can get a tour. And so it just, I don't know, it gives you a much better perspective of the place and the events that happen, and perhaps even how they happen. It was a surprise attack, so it
Right.
goes into that detail as well. But yeah, to me it's a must. It's a must.
Mm. Go ahead, Nancy.
I was just going to say sometimes it's difficult to make history really alive so that it
Right.
it sticks in your brain. And when you go to these parks and you see these kind of sites and you read the information and someone talks to you or guides you through it, then it becomes part of you and you really start to understand what this country really is about, not what people say it's about. It's what our history says. And some of I know that a lot of the historical sites are battlegrounds and things that we would have hoped wouldn't happen, but they're in those arenas are always the heroes and the people who stood out and did something amazing. And I like knowing who those people are and remembering them just as much as the places, just to kind of
Exactly.
remember that, this is how humans are and how can we be better.
Right. Right.
And I think places like this are very important for people to connect with their family, their ancestors.
Well, yes.
Even understanding why they had to die there. You know.
Exactly. But it's wherever you go, history comes alive when you visit sites and memorials and like you said, battlegrounds, whatever it is. But it comes alive in a way that is impossible for it to come alive when you're just reading about it in a book or learning about it in a history class in school.
It does.
True.
It's real because you're there. You can touch things and see things, and it's personal because you took the effort to go there.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
visceral.
it.
It's a visceral,
That's why go travel. Do as much as you can traveling. I think experience to me is the most important things. If you can do it, to me, like every penny to me for me personally goes to those experiences because
yes,
you don't have the understanding. We as writers and photographers and filmmakers and all that, we can give you the spark and the hey, have you checked this out? If you go to these places, that's when the true understanding happens. That's the real true understanding. You get it from writing and reading, or I should say reading and watching and listening and things, but when you go to a place, that's the true connection. So that's the important thing is to go to these places because then when you watch what's going on in the news, you can go, oh, that's actually not quite true, or it is, or I understand. You have these connections to places, and good and bad. I think the let's on the flip side of the beauty part, the Polynesian Cultural Center. To me, Nancy, I know you. We're going through the photos, and Nancy's all, I want to go. I mean, that looks like a festive, colorful tropical party. Yeah, what was going on?
It,
You had a good time.
it is. I think, like I said, the cultural part of the islands to me is really, quite important. And the Polynesian Cultural Center, it gives you this great experience with these interactives and performances and arts
Cool.
and music and everything combined in one place. And it's really there's several different villages, as they're called, like you can visit the village of Fiji. You can also the village of Hawaii, of course, the village of Tonga, of Samoa, and of Papa Nui. And you can just you visit these different villages, and they're set up the way that they would be, with housing the way they would be, with crafts, with activities, with traditions, with performances and song and musical instruments. And so you can go and you could just you can go from village to village and spend as much time as you want at whatever village you want. And you can talk to the islanders and learn from them. And then there's all sorts of festive, there's dramatizations in the evening with these different, performances. And there's a wonderful canoe celebration where canoes come out down the river, and they're, from different islands. And, it's a big festive, colorful experience. Cool. And it's, also one of the fun things for people to, I think families, anybody of all ages, you can get things from. You can take from it what you want at whatever age, and how much of it you want. And it certainly is worth definitely spending several hours. People go out there, spend an afternoon, they stay, they go to the luau, and then they go to the show at night. They spend a long time out there, and it's it's a great educational tool made so accessible to people.
Mm.
That's cool. And also they have like the luau that they do is an award-winning luau, and that's something everyone thinks about going to Hawaii is the luau's. So it's like, where does that land? You know what I mean? Because I remember like in Africa and Kenya, South Africa, there's like the tribal dances, and there's the the tribal dances. So where does that land?
The luau. I mean, I think everybody who goes to Hawaii, at least the one time during their time, they might experience a luau. And I think there's a lot of traditional aspects to the luau. I think luau's are vary depending on the different luau's that you can attend. I mean, there's so many different luau's all throughout all the islands. It's a big feast, but it's also a performance of dance and singing and tradition. And so you can get a lot from going, I think, to a luau. I think to me, I think it's definitely something that people enjoy doing, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe people do it every time if they visit Hawaii, several times. I think it just, it's person by person, but I think it's definitely something to experience at least once to understand. And you get to, you have the proverbial foods that you would have at the luau. You definitely get to have the poi, and the, all the poo-poos and, all the different food, that you
What's up with the
have
poo-poo?
there. And so,
What's the
you said that. You
are
said poo-poo. We have to go there now. Yeah, you have to explain the poo-poo.
No, the poo-poos are appetizers, and there's, everything. I mean, you get your shrimps and your, crabs and, crab cakes and your coconut shrimp and, you get, any kind of, there's so many different poo-poos, and every restaurant has poo-poos, which are just basically appetizers. And the best way to do that is just go and, go to happy hour and, eat your dinner at happy hour, because you could certainly do that. You can, it's definitely less costly to go to happy hour than to go, to a dinner, a regular dinner. We did a bunch of both, but I think happy hours it's fun. You can just go and you just, it's really a chill atmosphere. It's fun.
But then, so now we're gonna. Okay, now we have to go from the poo poo to scratch your itch. What? To scratch your itch.
I mean, the whistle stick. No, I'm reading that now. Okay.
Yeah, the tropical itch. It's a type of drink, a libation that has rum and bourbon in it, and they put passion fruit in it, and then they serve it with this bamboo back scratcher.
It's funny.
That's funny. That's funny. So you had
It's
cocktails.
really funny.
You talked about libations in the beginning. So, yeah, okay. So the food is getting interesting, but I know you love seafood and fresh
Yes.
vegetables and everything. So you must have been in heaven because even the acacia bowls, you got to explain that because they look so vibrant and so healthy and like my body wanted
Ugh,
it immediately when I saw
it's
it.
it's so easy to eat healthy because everything is fresh there. Like I was in heaven because
Awesome.
I love fish, and between the I love all the different names. I love to say opaka paka, and I love to
Mm.
say ono, and the mahi mahi, and all the different Hawaiian fresh food that you can get there. And so I was in heaven with the different fish, and then I love the poke bowls, which were it's just, oh my God, getting the tuna, the tuna and all the vegetables and all that stuff. But no, they're called acai bowls, actually. So it's even though it looks like ACAI, like a kai, it's acai bowls is what they're called, and they're
Mm.
just it's a bunch of, it's all this wonderful tropical fruit and the acai, and just they put sometimes yogurt on top of it. They put, I mean, it's just every place seems to have, they have almond butter. They put granola with it. It's just incredibly delicious and very addicting. Very addicting.
Wow. So not, I
So
know
when you go,
I said acacia bowl, didn't I? Because that was the
yes,
first thing
Yeah.
that came acacia. Yeah, and I was like going, what does it have acacia? Yeah, my brain just went there 100% because I'm like, does it have acacia seeds in there? Yeah, that was my immediate. No, but it's true. Like sorry, that's where I went immediately. So acai bowls, I had no idea. I had no
Yeah.
idea about that at all.
so
So that's good.
when you go to order, you're like, I'd like some poo poo, a little bit of itch, and an acai.
This is
Is that how
great.
you
This is our
order?
type of vacation. We'd
Yeah.
be walking,
it's
walk. Yeah, you know how we are.
yeah, it's just it's easy to. I mean, Hawaii is such an easy place to, find wonderful food. I just
Oh,
I think it's such a delightful place to eat. I mean, I love. I mean, I love it. Going to places where I can, try different new things. But
mhm.
with Hawaii, like I said, I was really in heaven with the fresh seafood and vegetables and all the
Mm.
tropical fruit and just I mean, it feels good. It's wonderful.
And Waikiki Beach, I need to touch on that because I know everybody thinks Waikiki immediately. We got to touch on it. People will yell at me. Waikiki, you had some surfer statues in there, and I think one of them is like the surfer dude. I remember that in Clifford's book. Like this was the dude who like invented the surfboard or something like that. Is one of
Right.
those sculptures. Yeah.
Yeah, that his last name is something I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it, but they call him Duke, and he was
Dude.
Yeah.
a very he was like a major surfer, an Olympic, just a surfer that was somebody who stood up and above. I mean, in terms of making surfing really, I think, kind of international. And so he gets his own statue right there on Waikiki Beach. And then
Cool.
there's, a couple other statues. There's one that's just of a generic, like the surfer, they call him. And, I think I sent you a bunch of pictures of, people like surfboards and people with surfboards.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
All
surfing
ages.
lessons are huge. People are just, surfers are out there of all sizes, shapes, ages, whatever you are, and you're either body surfing or you're trying to stand up on a board, and Waikiki is very. I mean, it's it seems to be a place for, I think, a lot of the people who are wanting to learn how to surf because the water there is calmer. If you go up on the North Shore and you go to some of those beaches that I mentioned in my story, it's you're going to get to this big wave situation, especially
I
in winter
know.
mostly. But this is where the surfing competition happens, whether it's Waimea Bay or up there in the Sunset Beach area. But it's that's where people flock in the wintertime, and that's where you can really watch the experienced surfers do their thing.
Mm.
Those
Cool.
waves are so huge. I mean, all I can think of is da 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 da,
Yeah.
and then so you start out on the board, and this big wave is chasing you, and then you end up body surfing.
Mm. Yeah, well, I would be body surfing and tumbling. Well, you start
Yeah,
singing, Nancy. The other part is, the area is also known for its Hollywood history. I got to shout out to Steve Schneikler, our Hollywood historian. He's going to love this. He's done some segments on it. But you've got
Ooh.
like Jurassic Park,
mm,
and I know we're going to have to attach this. We're going to have to get
I
everybody
love
here
that.
that we have to re-air the Hawaiian Hollywood history because
Yeah,
a lot of what he covered, we did this a few years back, but we're going to re-air it because it's cool. Because a lot of, but yeah, yours are Godzilla. Godzilla.
no, Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah.
I
50,
love that.
51st
Like
dates.
the very first time I saw Godzilla, and it was in black and white, and this little guy was standing there, little fellow, and he goes, "Please stand back. This ground is dangerous." That's so funny.
So Godzilla was
Stand
filmed
back.
there. I did not know this. So this is
Oh,
Kualoa Ranch. That was the movie
Yeah,
star ranch.
in the Ka'awawa Valley is this incredibly beautiful area, and there's a ranch there, a cattle ranch that's 4,000 acres. I think it's
wow.
still operating, dating back to the mid 1800s. But they've done a lot of filming in Jurassic Park, Godzilla, Pearl Harbor, 51st Dates. They've done TV series, of course, Hawaii Five-0, Magnum PI,
Mm,
all sorts of. I mean, it goes on, and you actually can visit the ranch, and you can take tours, and you can go see kind of spots where things were filmed, and But when we
cool.
were flying over it in the helicopter ride, you look down and he kind of went down into that valley area, and you're looking and you're going, yep, I can picture
Mm,
Jurassic Park. I
yeah,
can picture
cool.
Godzilla. I can picture
Mm,
this setting is perfect for that.
I
Oh,
know
I
what you're
love this.
thinking.
I know, right?
I just had to do it. I know what
This
you're
is,
thinking.
I know, but I'm not going to try and pronounce anything anymore because apparently I
No.
just do my own pronunciations and they're not correct. So I'm not going to do that anymore because I haven't been there. But when you go, that's the other benefit of travel. You get to really
You
understand
get
how
to
to
learn.
pronounce things. Once you go there,
Yeah.
you get it. That's another part of why you've got to go. Read the article, but actually
Mm,
go. That's the thing I want to just keep saying go because I want to go. I know we're going to go. So this
mhm.
is awesome.
For sure.
Let's talk about the lodging because I think that's also an important thing for people to know about. It seems like in your article you talk about like basically the hotels or resorts will help you with your activities as well.
Yes, there's I mean there's so many accommodations. I mean they all range from, luxury resorts, five-star resorts to like, chain hotels to simple, more simple inns and, B&Bs and,
Cool.
Airbnbs and, all sorts of, vacation rental kind of things. There's everything that you can possibly dream up in terms of accommodations, and it just is according to what price level you want, location, all that
Mm,
kind of stuff. A lot of people stay in the Waikiki area, but then there's several places that are quieter that are on the other side of the island. Where people really just want peace and quiet and serenity, and they don't want to be, close
mm,
to any kind of quote unquote action. So you can find everything. But the bigger hotels, they have concierge and they'll help you with activities, and they help you with they also these hotels will offer these, great classes for people. You want to learn how to make a lei, you want to, learn the hula, you want to learn to
mm.
speak a little bit of Hawaiian language, you want to learn how to play the ukulele. They have all these different types of
Cool.
fun classes, sessions for people who, just kind of want to dip their toe in and get a taste of some cultural things. And I think it's great. It's wonderful. I think it's a real special option for people to be able to say, hey, that was, I really wanted to I really want to learn, how to do a little bit of the hula, or I really wanted to learn how to play the ukulele,
Yeah, yeah. The ukulele is like really big. Everyone's come back into it. It's like a
Yes.
big deal. It's very very cool. And I wanted to just touch on one thing before you go is the waterfalls because That, we all live in the high desert. You're in the high desert. I mean, a lot of us live in the desert. We used to. And we do have waterfalls in the desert, but there's something about waterfalls in a tropical paradise that
yes.
that's those
all
things
the greenery.
you experience that.
Yeah, you can go, like I said, well, on that ride, on the helicopter ride, we saw, all these different wonderful waterfalls, spectacular waterfalls, some that we would not be able to, of course, reach on our own. But there are, places like the Waimea Falls, which is in the Waimea Valley. You can hike to a waterfall there, and see that and actually go into the pool and, get cool there. And it's, there are many, and there are also many more off the beaten track types of hikes and places that you can get to. Somebody told us that some of these off the beaten places, it's great when a local gives you a referral or tells you, go here or hike here, go to this special beach. This one's my favorite, blah blah blah. And so or whether this this restaurant, which is you walk up to it and you're thinking it doesn't look like much. I don't know, but it's and then you go inside and the food is phenomenal. But but somebody local referred you there, and I always feel like somebody local, has a really good idea of where to hike, which beaches to go to, where to eat at, whatever it is. And it's like they give you, I think, the authenticity that sometimes maybe you don't necessarily get if you just go through, whether it's, hotels or whatever recommendations you go through. But the locals, to me, is authentic.
I agree with you. I agree 100%. Locals know all and go and experience that.
Yes.
I want to play a song for you. We always love to do that.
Cool.
And I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, so my apologies up front. When we get to Hawaii, we'll learn. But it's called Kaina Dream, and it's from Makana. He's a slack key guitarist. He's one of the top in the world. And Kaina is a beach, one of the top beaches in Oahu. So I thought we should play it.
Yes.
And it's from his album Ripe. And everyone, you should follow Makana. He's doing so much for the islands, for Hawaii, and to keep the culture alive and to educate us all around the world. He's been all over, and he continues to do it in so many ways. And he stands up for his islands in so many ways, for the environment, for the people. So if you go to makanamusic.com, you can check him out there. But this song, I have to say, I know everyone's got to go to the website, gohawaii.com/islands/Oahu, OAHU.com, but just go to gohawaii.com, which is the the State Visitor Bureau, and he did their music for their videos and everything.
Oh,
so
neat. Wonderful.
I know. It was like the perfect tie-in. And somehow I got to get everyone to re-listen to Steve Schneiker's Hollywood History because you brought it all back on this. It just seems like this was such a magical journey. Would you go back again? And if so, what would you do that you didn't get to do? Because there's always stuff we never get to do on our trips.
I think, first of all, definitely I would go back. And second of all, there was so much I didn't get to do, which is, I'd explore more off the beaten path kinds of things. And I'd do some more of those hikes and get into the valley more. And, I would just explore more and go to some more of those 130 beaches, Do
they have like hiking outfitters that will take you, like what you did in the Smoky Mountains and stuff like that, will take you on
they have definitely outfitters there, and they're definitely guiding companies. I think you can do whatever you want. You could probably get people to help guide you in, but there's a lot of companies out there that do more than just surfing lessons.
Yeah, and what I want to go kayaking out there. That's my thing, or canoeing. Either one of those.
I've done an outrigger canoe on Hawaii. I was actually on Maui, but I did an outrigger canoe ride, and it was really fun and interesting. And the outrigger canoe is it's very traditional, and so I would encourage people to do some things like canoeing or kayaking or stand up paddleboarding is huge too.
Oh no, not me. No.
You have
I'll
to
fall
stand
down.
up.
I drink way too much
No.
wine. And you've got good
You have
libations
to
over
stand
there.
up. No
there's
way.
no way. The standing's not happening. We're not doing
No,
that.
you can't
You do
stand
that,
up.
Debbie. You're the fire monkey. You've got better balance than us. You know, just saying. Yeah, yeah. So everybody, again, Debbie's article's up on nationalparktraveling.com. You'll also see it in the fall issue of Parks and Travel magazine, which is in October. Check it out, and on the same website. But again, go to gohawaii.com, and we're going to play the song "Kai in a Dream." It's from the Ripe album, again, from Makana, and keep up with him at makanamusic.com. Thank you so much, Fire Monkey, and happy
That's
travels.
cool.
I know you're about to go on a hiking adventure in Colorado.
Cool.
You're doing like the American adventure now, like, going all over the West. So have a wonderful and safe time.
Thank you. Thank you, and safe travels to you ladies as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? We're doing the Bourbon Trail, so there really will not be any paddle boarding with us standing up, okay? There's a riverboat we're going on. That's our style. We're going to do the riverboat.
Awesome.
Just saying,
Have
kayaking,
fun.
canoeing is all good, but yeah. All right, here it is, everyone. Kai in a Dream. Take care, Fire Monkey.
I love it out here where the water's clear. Early in the morning, just before the break of dawn. I get in the ocean, living with the rising sun. I love it out here where the water's clear. Got another wave and free your mind. I love it out here where the water's clear. Got another wave and free your mind. Down at Papeete, where the girls are mighty fine. Cruising at the mountains, sipping on a glass of wine. I love it out here where the air is clear. See another breath and free your mind. I love it out here where the air is clear. See another breath and free your mind. Letting go of the world I know to be here. Buddy got a new job, working at the big space station. He took a little pay cut, but he did it for the great location. Brother said, I love it up here where the view is clear. Take another look and free your mind. I love it up here where the view is clear. Take another look and free your mind. I love it out here where the water's clear. Got another wave and free your mind. I love it out here where the air is clear. Take another breath and free your mind.